I'm going to say something about Chan's room, and it can be considered as controversial. So if you only want happy and wholesome, I completely understand. Just keep scrolling. I promise my next video after this will be happy and wholesome. And if you are someone who has no idea what I'm talking about, you might want to stick around just because I got some advice that could pertain to a situation that you are in. As Stay's unofficial mother figure, I have some gentle advice. But before I do that, I want you to think of a scenario. You have this relative that you love very, very, very deeply, and they have asked you to give you a hug. And you, for whatever reason, cannot. It could be a sensory thing, it could be an emotional thing, just you cannot give them a hug that day. And they're standing in front of you with open arms, being like, I love you and I miss you so much. Can you please just give me a hug? And you can't. And they're not doing it intentionally, but they're trying to manipulate you and guilt you into giving you a hug. And now you feel like you are failing them because you cannot give them a hug that day for whatever the reason. It may change tomorrow, the day after, the week after, the month after. It may change. Sometime you may be able to give them a hug, but for right now you can't. So who is who in that situation? Well, Chan would be you, and that relative that you love so deeply would be Stay. When you say, oh, I would have hugged tighter if I knew it was the last one, or, I really miss you, I really want you to go live, you are unintentionally trying to manipulate him, someone who you don't know, an idol who you don't know. You're trying to manipulate them into doing something that they may be uncomfortable with, or maybe they just don't have the time for. He did come and warn us and say, hey, I am really busy and I can't do this at the moment. When Chan came to us and made that promise, that was almost 3 years ago. And 3 years ago, Stray Kids was in its infancy. They didn't have the brand deals, they didn't have the schedules, and they had way more time on their hands to be able to do things like hour-long lives once a week. A promise can grow just like you or I or Stay. And the only thing that won't change is Chan's love for Stay. Chan hasn't gone anywhere. Chan is active on Instagram. He's active on Bubble. He continuously sends us messages. He has like the perfect Instagram aesthetic, which none of us expected. He hasn't left. You just have to reshape your thinking of how he shows his affection for Stay. He will always and forever be there for Stay. It just may change from what he used to do. And if you really, really miss the hugs, there's almost 3 years of hugs that you can go back and watch. And just because they're old doesn't make them any less special. And Chan, if you're watching this, first of all, it is an honor that you stayed for this whole entire video. I would really appreciate it if you could stop having me question my marriage at 7 a.m. on a Sunday morning.